Are you ready?
Welcome at the Pieter van der Hogeband Stadium, the swimming pool where we have our yearly competition where you all participate. Sadly, this year we can't have it due to the corona restrictions. However, we did design a challenge for you.
Exactly. We have asked all the participating teams of the Eindhoven Diving Cup to send in their performance of some dry land exercises accompanied by music in the most creative way they could think of. Later today we'll be having a look at those submissions and picking a winner out of them. But first we'll be heading to the studio to interview some participants and organisers of the Eindhoven Diving Cup. We'll be heading over there now, and on the way we'll show you some imagery of the town of Eindhoven. See you there.
Hi all, I'm Stijn Steenbakkers, the Alderman of Sports of the City of Eindhoven, and I'm here to open the broadcast event for the Diving Cup 2021. It's very unfortunate that I couldn't come to open it live, but due to the corona there's a broadcast event. I'm sure that the jury will pick a very wonderful winner. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next year with the Diving Cup 2022, and I wish you all the best and all the luck.
So welcome everyone today. Today we have Edwin Jongejans here at the table. Edwin is a former international diver from the Netherlands who one of his greatest achievements was in 1991 where he won the World Championships on the 1 meter board. But besides that, he's also been on the Olympic Games twice. And since the 1st of January 2018, he's been the national coach of the Dutch national team of diving, and we're really curious how Edwin is dealing, how to motivate his divers.
Yeah, 2020 obviously was a difficult year for all of us, including top athletes. And with the Olympic Games being postponed and with qualifying tournaments being cancelled and postponed all around, the pools being closed more often than being open, and all the athletes needing to set different training goals for themselves and keep motivated. We're wondering how you're dealing with that. So how did you approach this sort of thing?
Well, in the start, obviously, we had about 6-7 weeks completely no training in the pool, and that's when we just assigned them home workouts. We talked to the physio and the strength and conditioning trainer, and so we had different training sessions for them, also a little bit personalized. And every Saturday we had a Zoom training. That lasted about 6-7 weeks. And also there's a little bit of own responsibility for the divers to keep themselves in shape, so they went cycling or also just things that they enjoyed themselves. When we came back, we didn't go straight into 100% training until the break that we had in August. We mainly did one session a day. We only had two days where we did double sessions. It was just also, it's a bit of a social thing then, and just being able to train. But all had their own goals that they worked on. You know, for some of them it was learning new dives. For some of them it's technically getting better in certain parts. With Selena, I actually did her Olympics on the days that her Olympic event was. I actually did a little competition with her, so I kind of prepared her towards that moment. But to keep the competitions sharpness, we designed what we call the Challenge Cup. And we started that in June, and we went all the way to November, where there was we had four different things. We had one which we were called the Water Challenge, which was something silly, something crazy off the board, which is out of their comfort zone. You know, it could be a bouncing back 1.5 straight on 3 meter, or you know, I also put in there a forward dive half twist, the American way and the Russian way, just things that they're not comfortable with. We did a dryland skill, like on trampoline, or a little gymnastic skills. We did a Guus challenge, which is the physio, so it's like a physio exercise that we did. And then we had one part where we did something towards like a real competition. Could be a basic skill on the board in the beginning when we started that in June, but towards November when we finished the competition, it was more towards a whole list of dives. So we did that every week, so just to keep their competitive spirit up a little bit. So it has been very different, because you know, when we started off after August, then we have a normal season again. So you kind of start that normal season preparation again. We had an internet competition that we did in December. Then we gave them a break of 2 weeks around Christmas time. And now we're again in a different situation where competitions are being cancelled, where we have to again do something a little bit different, and we're working on that. So where we're going to do another competition variation in February, but we don't have a playbook for this, so it's kind of like improvising and talking to them and working with that.
Okay, but you already mentioned that you organized a cup, so the International Stay-at-Home Cup.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, who participated here? How did you fully organize this?
I had been asked by my boss Andre that he wanted kind of a internet competition, but it's very complicated, an internet competition, you know, a live stream, or I was like, that's way too difficult. PSV was actually having their club championships, and they were just filming their dives, and then the judges were gonna judge it a couple of days later, and I was like, that concept I can deal with. So I talked to a lot of different. I kind of wanted to keep it small, but it kind of became a little bit bigger, where we just sent it in by WhatsApp. And we had an international judges judge all the dives, and it gave them something to work towards. And we had competitors from the USA, Australia. We had I think nine countries, and it was just something a little bit of a tryout. But you know, sometimes you come in times like this, you run into something that you maybe can use for later, because if it does work, then it's a cheap international competition that you don't have to go to another country for.
It is, and everyone is also able to follow it online in a way, I assume.
Yeah. This was a bit of a concept. Obviously, we're still working on. Patrick van der Meer, technical wizard behind all of this, and he's writing software to make this a little bit smoother. It was a tryout, and it worked, and everybody enjoyed it.
That's great.
Lovely, sounds good, impressive.
Yeah.
And considering the contact that you have had with the other international teams about, for example, the Stay-at-Home Cup, do you also have contact with those other trainers about how they deal with the coronavirus situation and keep their divers in shape? Yeah,
it's mainly what we have to do. When as coaches, we're always planning long term. And that's got to go. That's out the window. You have to plan very short term, like day by day or week by week, because everything seems to change every time. And for example, with Inge and Selena, we have been working towards the World Series, which were at the end of February. and they're out the window now. And in March there's 2 more World Series, but we don't know if they're going to go on. So it's very difficult to say, right, we're working towards that, while you in the back of your head that might be cancelled. So you have to kind of go very short term.
Okay. So currently there's no event that you're fully training towards, more the main goal,
yeah,
maybe?
Well, everything's, now we're rating if these next 2 World Series are going to go on, and then the main event is Europeans and World Cup. World Cup is the main event, that's in April, but still we don't know if that is, there's still talk and rumors, and how is that going to go on. For example, there's, we have a lot of different strains of the virus. For example, Australia, they can get out of the country, but it's not that easy to come back into the country. And then when they come into the country, they have to go, if they can get it back into the country, they have to stay in quarantine for 2 weeks in a hotel, and it costs $3,000 per person. So those are all different problems to go into an event that's far away.
So, but that's basically what you're training for primarily now, the World Cup in April?
Yeah, World Cup and European Championships, which is in May.
Okay. And now we've had this small talk, but what do you think of actually that the EDC is currently organizing this alternative event online, interviewing a few people?
I really like it. Let's hope to not forget this competition, but this is a very famous competition, and everybody I talk to for example, in Great Britain said they love this competition. It's very well organized. They know exactly when it is. And even though we don't have it this year, this is a very good initiative, and I'm sure nobody will forget about the EDC.
Well, we hope so too. Well, thank you for your time anyway. Good luck with training for the Olympics, and well, let's cross our fingers that it will continue this year.
Thank you, Edwin. And now we're going to watch the first few challenges that have been sent to us. Well, welcome. We're currently here with 2 divers of the national Dutch team, Inge and Stine. You're both qualified for the Olympic Games for 2020, but you qualified in 2019. And sadly, they've been postponed and rescheduled for 2021. How do you see this in terms of your own, maybe motivation? And how do you see it? Because it's sadly rescheduled, so.
Yeah, of course it was a big shock when it happened, but yeah, you just try to keep focusing on the biggest goal, the final goal, the Olympics, and it takes another year, that's hard, but I try to see it as a good thing, you know? You have now more time to focus on the smaller details, and I just live day by day, training by training, and yeah, hopefully this year will be the year.
And also for you, it's the same?
Yeah, exactly the same. Especially I was injured for 9 months, so for me,
Okay.
I'm really happy they postponed. But exactly what Selena is saying, like you have one more year to focus on the little details you have to work on. So I think it is a good thing because we just have more time. So maybe we can be even better this year.
Yeah, and if it will be maybe even more postponed to next year, how would you feel about that? Or
I'm not sure if they will postpone
I think it's not
it
possible.
one more year.
Yeah. Because now we are too close to
24.
24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it will happen, yeah, it will be.
Just deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just deal with it.
Sounds good, sounds like a positive attitude. And Celine, you were planning to stop top-level sports after the Olympics. Well, what are your new plans now? How are you dealing with that? Are you stopping a year after, or what's going to happen?
I don't really plan it yet. I will see what 2021 brings and what the Olympics will bring and how I feel after, and maybe I will say I will continue another year or two. I really don't know. I will wait for it and see how I feel.
And so yeah, the swimming pools are closed. However, for top sport, so athletes, it's been opened. So it's really nice for you guys to keep on training. How is it, for example, for you, Inge, how has it been motivating you this year to continue and keep that thought, like I'm going to the Olympics in 2021?
Actually, I really enjoyed that the pool is empty and just for the sport, because most of the time we just have the time when we have to train, and now if we have we can just use the pool whenever we want. So actually I really like it. That's just really quiet and we can focus more and we don't have to look to the other people, they're using the pool whatsoever. So I just really enjoy it, yeah.
It sounds ideal, really. The
Actually,
whole pool
yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I think another good thing is everybody stays at home doing nothing or trying to do something to keep them busy. And for us, it's just a normal week. We go training twice a day and yeah, nothing changed, so it's good.
During the time, the pool was also closed, therefore you weren't able to go to the pool, so I assume you worked out at home. How did you deal with that? Did you go outside running or inside just exercises with weight?
We had some stuff from the gym, they give it to us. So at home we had some aqua balls and stuff to train where we usually train with. So we were at home for 8 weeks and yeah, it was difficult, but we could manage, yeah.
What about you? The same as for Inge? Or?
Yeah, a little bit the same, but also I went out a lot with my dog and did some roller skating and just I kind of enjoyed the time off and to discover some new things. But I was also really happy when the pools were open again, so we can start training.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. Right, so besides staying physically fit, you obviously have to work on your mental strength as well, especially during Corona times. How has that been going for you guys?
Well, in the beginning for me, it was pretty tough when they told that the Olympics didn't continue. So I had 2 weeks. I felt really sad because you work for so many years to that point and then they're saying just in one moment, well, I'm sorry, but we're not going. So it was pretty difficult and I had 2 weeks that I felt sad and I didn't enjoy to train at home whatsoever. So, but after it, well, I think I'm a really positive person and you have to see the good parts of it. So yeah, one more year to be even more better than you were, so.
True that. And is there anything besides sport that you're doing that keeps you kind of mentally on track, or is it mostly just to keep going for the Olympics next year?
Yeah, it is, and at home I also have my own beauty salon and I'm working on that too. I really enjoy it. I think it's good to do something besides the diving just to keep your mind off it. So yeah, I'm really happy to have that.
Is that also for you, Selena?
Yeah, besides the training and diving, I have my massage salon, so I treat a lot of people and it's just fun to do next to it.
Right, and you likely have seen that we as the EDC have organised a challenge as well for the people that would usually participate. Can you comment on the exercises that all the divers have been doing?
I think that there are good exercises and they're all related to the diving, and it's fun to see all the little kids trying so hard, and they're really original, and some of them have really nice videos. So I think it's good to keep them busy in these times, and I think they enjoy it as well.
Yeah, it's really fun to see everyone that they're creating their own kind of way in the exercises. So yeah, it was really fun to see.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Good luck with training for the Olympics. On behalf of the EDC, we also have a little something for both of you. I'll just slide it on over.
Yeah, thank you.
Just to wish you luck in
Thank
Tokyo.
you very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully this year, and well, we'll see how that goes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Taalgids. Oh, dit is wel heel grappig. Nou, we hebben nog wat werk te verrichten, Celine.
Dit is wat wij je wensen, samen met alle Nederlanders. Goed, team EDC. Oh, wat leuk.
Dankjewel.
Dankjewel.
Inge, Celine, thank you for today. Good luck at the Olympics, and I hope the book will be of some use to both of you. And now, as a quick break, we'll be having a look at some past photos of the Diving Cup back in the days when it was still in the old swimming pool. Welcome back, and welcome Bert Tegenbos and Frits Adelmeijer. Bert is the chairman of the South Netherlands Diving Foundation, a foundation consisting of members that all have a history in the diving sport, be they former divers, parents of divers, etc. And this foundation supports the PSV Diving Club with, for example, materials or contributions for training courses, etc.
And here we also have Frits Adelmeijer. He's a volunteer of the Eindhoven Diving Cup, and he's been an active volunteer since the start. Before that, he's actually also been a diver himself, where he's been performing and participating at various events nationally and internationally. And after that, he started his own club here in Eindhoven, PSV Diving, which he later guided also the national team and other divers to, crank them up a little. For starters, so the Eindhoven Diving Cup has been there since 22 years. Yeah, quite a long time. And this tournament has therefore been a permanent part of the sports calendar that keeps on returning every single year. Question to Bert. Why did you start organizing a diving event at the time?
Wij zijn toen begonnen omdat wij graag internationaal gingen. En om de jonge springers die niet in aanmerking kwamen om in het buitenland te gaan wedstrijden te gaan springen, om die toch een internationale ervaring op te laten doen.
And Fritz, at the beginning of 2020, more than 30 teams from 21 different countries took part. Since you've been there from the start, how many teams took part in the first edition of the Diving Cup?
Well, the first year I think was in 1999, and we started with 4 countries, which were Belgium, Germany, Holland and Belarus. And Belarus was because we have the city of Eindhoven had this connection with the city of Minsk, and this team of Belarus has been already every session they were competing at this diving cup.
All right, so it has been growing quite a bit then. How would you describe the development of this diving tournament over the years?
Well, we develop, increasing a lot in teams, in competitors, but also in equipment. I mean, we were in the whole pool, which only has a 1 meter and 3 meter board. And in 2007, we had the first edition in the new swimming pool in the Pieter van der Hogeband swim stadium. And that means we have 2 3 meter boards, 2 1 meter boards, a whole platform, a gym. So we could organize a much, let's say, better tournament on a higher level.
So it just kept growing and professionalizing?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Lovely. And do you have any memorable moments that you would like to share?
Yeah, I have a lot, but I think in 2018, that's not that long ago, we had as a publicity, we had to try to make a world record in splashing. So we asked a lot of divers to compete with that world record, and I don't know exactly how many, but about 200 divers we had around the pool, the 50-meter pool, and I think we broke this record. I think people can see it on YouTube. Another moment was in 2014. Then we had an opening ceremony and we invited Ralf Mackenbach. He was the winner of the Junior Song Test, the European Song Test competition. And he made a performance with his song and his dance group. That edition we also had a competition between Ralf and Tanja Dexter, because Tanja was the winner of the Diving with the Stars in Belgium, and Ralf was the winner of the Dutch version. So we organized also a competition between those two people. So that was, well, a really special moment. But for me, maybe every session is quite special because we have such a lot of volunteers who work with this tournament, and the atmosphere. And if we see every year how much competitors, teams, countries who could compete, so yeah, I think we all are proud to organize every year this competition.
Thank you very much. And what makes it special for you, Bert, this competition?
De competitie maakt me zo leuk, want het is een sport met een groot ons kent ons gevoel. Het is gewoon elk jaar weer een reunie van alle mensen die komen en het is een hele fijne sfeer. Het is eigenlijk van begin af aan, ook onderling in de teams, een hele fijne sfeer geweest om het te organiseren. En ja, dat maakt het zo leuk. Leuke dingen zijn van de meet and greet die we 's avonds hadden. En in het begin liepen die nog wel eens bij sommige coaches uit de hand. Dat hebben ze 's morgens op een stenen vloer terug zagen komen. En het was gewoon een heel gezellige sfeer altijd. En nog steeds.
I can definitely understand that. And what do you think about the EDC current alternative event? How is that organized for you, Bert? Do you think it's a good alternative? Due to the corona restrictions, obviously we cannot have a normal event, but what do you think of this alternative one?
Ik vind het een heel leuk initiatief en het is ook gewoon dat je betrokken blijft bij de sport. Dat je bekendheid blijft, dat je contact houdt met je medeverenigingen. En het is gewoon jammer dat het niet door kan gaan, maar dit is gewoon heel goed, een heel mooi initiatief.
And Fritz, what do you think about the alternative of the EDC event this year?
I'm really happy that we do this in this way because we made a challenge and in the hope that every country, team divers will send us this challenge, and in this way we keep in contact with them. I know for everyone it's difficult now because pools are closed, they have less practice time. So in this case we challenge them, and it's also a kind of publicity also for the sponsors, but also to keep in contact with all those diving family. And I hope we will see them in 2022 if we can continue with this organization.
Great, lovely to hear both your positive reactions to the event, and we will be seeing you, Fritz, later today for the award ceremony as well. But for now, thank you both for making the time for this interview and for your contribution to the Diving Cup. And we'll hope to see you again next year as well when the Diving Cup takes place. So good luck for the coming year.
Thank you, Fritz and Bert, for the interview. We will now continue viewing the fun and creative challenges that have been sent to us. Welcome, Robert Verschijnen. You're one of our volunteers at the Eindhoven Diving Cup, and you've been there for years doing the music. How did you get involved in the Eindhoven Diving Cup?
7 years ago I was introduced by a friend of me, of whose daughter was an athlete at the Eindhoven Diving Cup. So for 6 years now I'm playing the music at the games.
And could you maybe describe a little more what you do with the music, when the music is played off?
The music is played when the athlete hits the water till the judges had given their numbers.
Yeah, so it's always during the competition. Yeah. Okay, great. And do you also do any other things besides the music?
Besides the music, my regular work, I am a medical engineer. I do maintenance at medical equipment for ambulances in hospitals, private hospitals, etc.
Intriguing. So the music is primarily a hobby then, is it?
Yeah.
All right, good, good. But then again, the environment of the swimming stadium is obviously not the most hospitable for the kind of work that you're doing, because, well, the temperature is quite high, so the construction and the dismantling and, you know, running around doing stuff 3 days long in the heat is not the most comfortable. What pushes you to keep doing this year after year?
One for the money, two for the show.
All right.
That's everything.
Fair enough, good point.
It's nice to be there. Nice people, nice athletes, nice teams. So a nice atmosphere. And it's during the winter, so the temperature is good.
It's still doable for a bit. Right, fair enough.
Definitely. But now, sadly, with Corona, we don't have the event anymore. However, do you still play off the music at any other, maybe semi-small event or?
My last gig was at Carnival 2020, so it's in the same month, February. And yes, till now it's nothing. It's a hobby, so for me it's no problem. Almost no problem, but for my colleagues who are working permanently with music, yeah.
Have you made a playlist for the Eindhoven Diving Cup in general, though?
I have a playlist for my PC and my laptop, especially for the Eindhoven Diving Cup. It contains 781 songs at this moment, but it's still growing. At the first time I had 100 songs. I think that's more than enough. But 2 games and my songs were
finished.
Finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not every number, not every song is a good one. It must have a catchy intro.
And do you have any advice for the viewers at home? Which songs to listen to if they want to get in the Eindhoven Diving Cup mood while it's not taking place this year?
One of my favorites is from my first year at the Eindhoven Diving Club is this one. This is the Albatross from Aaron Chupa. My playlist was very short at that moment, 100 numbers. And this one I played 10, 15 times. The other one is, for example, a song which make you laugh. Is this one. Het kuikentje piep. It's a song from 8 years ago. Two examples. I have many more, and this one is maybe. It's a Harlem Shake. It's a possibility. The catchy intro.
So all good options for the people at home that are trying to get into the mood of the tournament.
Perfect. And what do you think of this alternative short interview event day, I would say, instead of the actual event that can't be happening, sadly?
I think it is a good alternative for the athletes and for the teams, for the crew, for the volunteers, for the Eindhoven Diving Cup. I hope next year we can do it live, but for this year there's a very good option.
Well, we hope so too. Anyway, Robert, thank you for being here. We look forward to enjoying your DJ skills again next year at the Eindhoven Diving Cup once it takes place again. And now we'll go have a look at some other photos from past Eindhoven Diving Cups, but this time in the Pieter van den Hogeband swimming stadium.
And welcome, we're back again with Christine, who also works for the Eindhoven Diving Cup. Could you please tell us how you got involved in the Eindhoven Diving Cup?
Well, it started when one of my daughters had to dive in the competition. And at that time we were still living in the neighborhood of Rotterdam. So it was going by car to Eindhoven and then being the whole day here. And then I thought, well, what I'm going to do the whole day in the swimming pool. So I decided to be a volunteer. So that's much more fun being on the floor and walking around than sitting the whole day on the side of the swimbad in that whole pool. So that's the way it started. And that was about when Guurtje was 10 years old, was her first competition. So it was 7 years ago.
So you've been really long in the organization, I'd say.
Yes, a few years later I started in the organization. It was not as a volunteer, but really organizing. I started as hospitality manager. I did that for a few years and then I said, okay, I'll be the tournament director. I'll give it a try.
Okay, that's great. So what has Eindhoven Diving Cup brought to you?
Well, most important, it has brought me a lot of fun. Because it is really great to organize such a big competition, and it is fun to work with the organization team. And each year it's very exciting, and are we going to have enough teams, and who is going to participate, and are going to find enough volunteers? Because each year again we think, oh, no one is participating, no one is helping, and in the end it always turns out it's going to be okay, and it's a lot of fun.
And it goes without saying that a tournament cannot do without its sponsors, obviously. Therefore, I was wondering, how does this tournament be organized financially?
That's a good question, thank you. In fact, we have 3 ways to finance the event. The first is that all divers normally have to pay an entrance fee. So that's basically is for the costs of the swimming pool. Then we have the city of Eindhoven who subsidize the event because they think it's important to have a sports event in the city. And then third, and very important, we have the sponsors. We have some sponsors that are there for years and years, that every time again they sponsor the event. And sometimes we have new sponsors who try it for one time or twice, or they say, well, we help, and like you have to pay only a part of the cost we normally make to organize or to do our work. And we are very happy each time again. So normally we organize a team event or a VIP event for the sponsors and for the members of the city. Of course we can't have a team event or a VIP event this year, but we hope we see all the sponsors next year again.
Let's hope so indeed.
Yeah,
yes.
That would be great.
All right, so Christine, for a long time it was still thought that the 2021 edition of the Diving Cup would still be going on, and the preparations were in full swing. What is it like as a tournament director to have to decide that the 22nd edition is not going to take place?
Well, it was a difficult decision to take. First we met in September as an organization team, and then we still thought it was going to be possible to organize the Diving Cup. So we all said, okay, let's go for it. And then just 2-3 weeks later, in Holland, we had the second lockdown. Is it going to happen? Yes, no, we are not sure. And then somewhere in November, I think we thought, well, it's going to be a too big risk to organize the meeting, because who is going to come if all rules are changing the whole time? Sometimes you can go somewhere and then next time you can't. I had to talk with the whole team and said, okay, what are we going to do? And then we said, okay, the risk is too big. We are not going to be able to organize it. And if we cancel it now, we have some time to organize something else. So that was the decision, but it was no fun to take the decision.
No, definitely, I can imagine. And so after such a setback, how did you motivate your team to still enthusiastically embark on an alternative program?
Well, I think the most important is that it was a decision taken by us all. It was not my decision, it was our decision. And then we said, okay, what are we going to do? What is going to be what are we capable of? Because of course we were a very good team to organize a diving event, but we have never ever organized something like this, what we're doing now. But it was very funny because once we thought, well, okay, we're going to do something like a broadcast. One by one, all of us were getting more and more enthusiastic. And once, what you see, once a team is enthusiastic, our ideas are just coming in. And you get in kind of a flow, like, oh, we can do this, or we can do that. Oh, let's do this, and let's ask him or her or whatsoever. So that helped a lot, that the whole team was enthusiastic and, very importantly, prepared to do other tasks than they normally do. Like, we have the hospitality manager, but we didn't have to organize the hospitality. Or the administration office that's normally very, very busy registering all the dives and administration. Well, we didn't have any administration this time. So everybody, all team members took another job, another role, and it was great to see. Yeah. Really fun.
I can imagine, because also there are a lot of volunteers usually in the Eindhoven Diving Cup, and this year maybe it's a little less, so to say, since, as you said, there's less administration, less hospitality, so everything is online. What does it mean to you to have so many enthusiastic volunteers every year wanting to or willing to help out at the Eindhoven Diving Cup? What does that give you, and does that lift up the spirit also at the Eindhoven Diving Cup?
Yes, that really is amazing. As I said earlier, somewhere, say in December, we always think, oh, are we going to have enough volunteers? It's always scary if there are going to be enough, and then it always ends up that there are more than we need. People really want to come to the Eindhoven Diving Cup as a volunteer. And since a few years we engage the organization More to Win, and that organization helps refugees to get involved in Dutch and in the Dutch Association or the Dutch Lives. And those volunteers also help at the Eindhoven Diving Cup. And even those people from, say, Syria or Iran, they also want to come back the next year because they so much enjoy being at the Eindhoven Diving Cup. So that really is nice. So it's always good to see back those volunteers and say hello again, good to see you, and always prepared to help.
Yes, I definitely can imagine. Well, now that this 22nd edition was going to take place in 2021 in the beginning of the year, well, now you've come up with the alternative event, the Eindhoven Broadcast Event.
Yeah.
Being broadcasted now, so that's lovely. And all teams that normally travel to Eindhoven to participate in the tournament have sent their digital contribution. Could you tell us why this tournament is so important for both the international diving sport, but also for Eindhoven specifically?
Eindhoven Diving Cup is normally one of the first international competitions of the diving season, because we're always in the beginning of February. So it's the first time for many divers to see how they are doing in the international level. And it is also, the competition is used for getting points if you can go to European or even world competitions, or if you're allowed to the national team and so on. So it's an important competition to see where you are and to get your qualifications for different types. As for Eindhoven, Eindhoven is a sports city. They really think sports is important, especially swimming sports. It's therefore we have the Pieter van der Hogeband swimming stadium, and they really like sports events, international sports events to happen in the city. Eindhoven is a proud city, so they love to show to the visitors the city and what is going on here, and to have international teams here.
Sounds like it's making quite a large contribution on the sport as a whole and on the city itself. So great. Anyway, Christine, thank you very much for being here and for being interviewed by us. And well, on to next year, to the Diving Cup 2022.
Yeah, thank you, Ise and Rene. Thank you for being here. And I hope to see you next year, the February 3 till 6, 2022.
All right, lovely. See you then.
Lovely. See you then.
We came here last year. I brought one diver last year who's with me again this year. But we actually came here about 14 years ago when the pool was very first opened. It's nice to meet different countries, compete with different countries. The standard here is so good as well. I mean, it's good to get away from England and it's nice to dive against different people.
It's a close group, but also new volunteers are very welcome. It's just like a big family.
This is one of the biggest competition in the European circumstances. It's a great opportunity for everybody in January to start a season, check the conditions. So it's a great time, great competition.
We came to the Eindhoven Diving Cup for the first time last year with the Scottish team and we really enjoyed the competition. We enjoyed the camaraderie with the divers. It's a good level of competition. And I think one of the most important lessons for a diver is probably having fun. So as well as challenging themselves, they need to be enjoying their training and enjoying competition, and I think that's how they get the most out of it.
I would really recommend this diving cup for other persons because it's really nice here and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a very good competition.
Okay, we will continue with the award ceremony. I'm standing here next to the cup who will win by the team with the most creative challenge. First I want to tell that we did this challenge to give attention to the Eindhoven Diving Cup 2021 with a challenge. The example of the challenge is made by Cindy Hertogs with her divers who made the example of the challenge, and with this example we could challenge all teams in Europe or in the world in the hope they will send their challenge to our Eindhoven Diving Cup. I will announce in a few moments which will be number one. We are very proud to receive a lot of challenges which were really funny and with a lot of creativity, and I also want to explain that the number 1, 2 and 3 will receive some prizes. We have for the winner this cup, which will be awarded next year at the Diving Cup 2022. But of course, we have also a prize for the number 1, and that will be a GoPro underwater camera. Then we have for the number 2, we have a Bluetooth speaker set. And the number 3, the third place, will receive a voucher which can be spent at Aquaware. All those prizes will be sent by mail. For now, I want to thank everybody who sent their challenge to our organization. We hope to see you next year in 2022. Okay, and now I will announce the number 2 and 3 are... Congratulations for them. And the number one, the winner of this challenge is...
And we are at our end station of the day of our broadcast. We want to thank you for participating. We hope you enjoyed, and especially the ones that also sent us the challenges. Thank you very much for that.
And we hope to see you again next year at the EDC 2022. Until then.
Bye.
We miss you.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe.
See you in 2022.
And see you in 2022.
See you in 2022.
Bye bye.